They wanted to fire her, just because she was old and poor. But what happened next left the entire room speechless. There was an old lady named Mrs. Teresa. Every morning before sunrise, she'd whisper a prayer. God, give me strength to keep working for my purpose. She lived in a small, humble house, worked at a restaurant for years, quiet, modest, always in the same clothes. She was a waitress, helped in the kitchen, swept the floors, and never complained. But behind her back, the whispers were loud. Why hasn't she retired? Same clothes every day? She lives in that tiny old house. She heard it all, but never said a word. She just kept working, head down, heart full, even though it did hurt. One day, a new assistant manager showed up, young, ambitious, judging everything. She looked at Mrs. Teresa and scoffed. Why is she even still working here? She's slow. She doesn't match the image of this place. And then, she marched up to the owner and said, Sir, with all due respect, we need to fire her. The owner, Matthew, sighed and said, Do what you think is right. The next day, in front of everyone, Mrs. Teresa was told, We no longer require your services. You don't represent the values of this restaurant. Some looked down. Some smiled silently. No one said a word. Mrs. Teresa calmly took off her apron, folded it neatly, and as she was about to walk out, Matthew stopped her. Wait. He looked around the room, then pointed at her. Before you make the biggest mistake of your life, there's something you all should know. This restaurant doesn't belong to me. It belongs to her. Dead silence. The assistant whispered, What? But why didn't she ever say that? Mrs. Teresa looked up, eyes calm, and said, Because I didn't come here for recognition. I came to keep a promise. Years ago, her son had died because she was too poor to afford his treatment. He had only one pair of shoes, torn and old, and that day she made a promise to God. If I ever get back on my feet, no child will go hungry. No child will walk barefoot, like my son did. With the little she had and the help of God, she opened this restaurant, not to make money, but to build a foundation for children in need. The assistant, now in tears, asked, Then why do you still live poor? Mrs. Teresa smiled and said, Because I don't need warm clothes. As long as the children in my foundation have food, clean clothes, and new shoes. Mrs. Teresa didn't need applause. She only needed to keep her promise. In love, as God taught her. Morale. Before you judge someone, remember, you may not know the promise behind their pain, or the purpose behind their silence. Share this story, and never underestimate quiet hearts. They often carry the loudest legacies.